Today we're going to make biscuits. They're actually called mayonnaise drop biscuits. They're really easy. They're just a handful of ingredients. The reason I like them is because they're thicker like a bread, and so they don't flake apart as much, so that I can then use them as a sandwich. So just like any of the other recipes, you can adjust them and augment them. This is really meant to be a baseline and a starting point for you so that you can customize them to make them taste however it is you like them to taste. My favorite part about this recipe is that I can go from I really want biscuits to I'm eating biscuits in about 20 minutes. It's a couple minutes on the prep side, then 12 minutes in the oven at 400 degrees, and you're good to go. The mayonnaise drop biscuits are pretty straightforward. You can start with self-rising flour, or what I usually do is make my own. So it's 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and then a half a teaspoon of baking soda. So that essentially gives you your self-rising flour. Some people say that self-rising flour has kind of different properties, and that's great if you have it. I'm looking for a recipe where I have everything on the ingredient list already, and so this helps me be able to make it. The next is a cup of milk. And then the last ingredient is the one that I think a lot of people get a little bit concerned about, is 6 tablespoons of mayonnaise. You don't taste the mayonnaise at all in the final product. And actually the reason that I like these recipes over maybe a traditional biscuit recipe is that these come out really, really moist. So they have a flavor like a biscuit, but they have the texture of a bread. And so for me, that's a fantastic combination. Now, usually when you're working with biscuits, they tend to be dry. This actually ends up seeming more like a batter than it does a dough, as you'll be able to see as I'm mixing it up here. You don't need to mix it up. I think the tendency is to keep mixing it until it turns into something that feels like you can roll it out. You'll never be able to roll it out. So this is essentially the final product. And so then what I do is I use a scoop, and then I basically lay them out on a pan. So I'm a stoneware guy, so I'm going to use our pizza stone, and then basically I just go through, make a big scoop, and then lay them out with a little bit of room between them. I don't mind if they come together when they're cooking though, so I position them accordingly. Now the other thing, this recipe I make exactly as I'm saying it here. The other thing you can do though is you can add other ingredients if you'd like. So you can add some herbs to it if you want to give it a more of an herbal flavor. You can add cheese to it. I've seen recipes or additions or augmentations where people will add cheese. As I've probably mentioned or will probably mention in every video I do when it comes to a side dish, you can probably figure out a way to add bacon. Or jalapenos, whatever it is that you prefer, that's what you can add. So that's it. So the oven's already preheated at 400, and so I'm going to go ahead and put them in. And you can see here it makes 10-ish, a little more, a little less, depends on the size of your scoop. If you don't have a scooper like this, you can use an ice cream scoop, or you can use just a tablespoon or something. Make them the size that you want them to be. They're going to finish with this rough texture. But we'll see that when they're done. After about 12 minutes in the oven, this is what they'll look like. You can see the tops are browned. That's really what you got to keep an eye out for more than anything. And so they come off pretty easy. They're still hot. But as you can kind of even tell, they're much more bready than they are kind of like a flaky biscuit. And so I love them with butter and honey. But the other reason I really like these specifically is because I've actually used them for pulled pork sandwiches or tri-tip sandwiches. They work really well as a strong enough biscuit flavored bread to be able to be used as more than just a biscuit. So I hope you enjoy.